class, my name is Chef Andrew Garrett, and today we're going to be making a spicy meatball. Today we're going to be making spicy meatballs using Northwest Elixir spicy cooking sauces. What we put together here is our mise en place. I like to measure everything out before I start the next process. So we have our gluten-free breadcrumbs. You're more than welcome to use regular, fully leaded breadcrumbs. I have a combination of dry thyme, smoked paprika, fresh cracked black pepper, and cumin. Chopped yellow onion or shallot. I'm using shallots today because that's what I had in my cupboard. Chopped garlic. Jameson sea salt. Northwest Elixirs spicy cooking sauces. This is our Rojo Hot. It's kind of like a taco sauce. It's got a lot of cumin, roasted carrots, roasted onions, and roasted garlic, and a lot of heat to it, so it'll bring a nice spice to it without overpowering. And then, of course, 2 eggs, 1 pound of ground pork, and 1 pound of ground beef. So the first thing I like to do is I like to crack my eggs into my meat mixture and get that started as the first thing. I'm gonna kind of like break them up, break the yolks up, mix it all together, get it kind of coated and in. And then once we have a good mixture of those 2 items and things are kind of like coming together, it's a little bit greasy, it's a little bit sloppy, but you can see how it's starting to want to come together here. The next thing we're gonna do is add our garlic, our shallots, and our spices, and then we'll mix all those in. Again, if you want to use gloves, you're welcome to use gloves. I like to just use my bare hands and then wash my hands a whole bunch. So once we get those, gosh, they smell so good. The nice thing about like these kind of spices is they're really aromatic and you can smell them right out the gates. And you can see how the texture of the meat is starting to come together. It's almost like pliable to where it's almost like a Play-Doh-esque texture, and we can kind of wrap it any way we want. That's the eggs kind of doing their work in there. So we're gonna keep mixing that, toss it all together, get any excess meat off of our hands, change your gloves if you'd like to at this point. I'm gonna wash my hands before I touch it. The next thing we're gonna add is our Northwest Elixirs Rojo Hot. So this is just about a 1/4 cup that we're gonna add here. Then we'll add our salt. This is technically a pinch or 2, but I think that it's probably about 2 tablespoons. Next, we'll add about 1 cup of gluten-free breadcrumbs. Then, once again, we'll mix it all together. Make sure that we get this all nice and tightly. I didn't show really like in depth that I'd like to is when we start making these meatballs, you want to get a nice flat hand, right? So you get that lump in your hand. We're going to kind of press down between our palms and kind of flatten it out with just a little circles, right? So now everything's kind of combined and pressed down. Now we're going to take our thumbs, we're going to kind of close them in, and we're going to make like a little, like as if you're cupping something, right? So you're cupped, and just a little bit of light pressure over the top of that, and that's gonna help push that into the ball shape. And if you don't like it, you can kind of take your middle finger and your thumb and kind of push around the outside to help build that up a little bit taller. So then you get a nice tall meatball, right? So there's a little bit more. We'll do it again one more time. So if we have our lump of meat, toss it into our palm, other palm, flat, kind of flatten it out a little bit so it's kind of like a flat piece of meat covering our palm. Thumbs come together like we're cupping it, and then just slowly make little circles, and that'll bring that ball right up. Again, I like a little bit thicker, so I'm going to go around with my middle finger or my thumb, raise up the size a little bit, and then I can go back to that flat palm Now we have a nice tall meatball. What we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of the pan. I like to use a little bit, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. As the pan warms up, we'll kind of let that get around the edges, cover all the outside. Now we're gonna let this pan get nice and hot. All right, so once our pan is nice and hot, if you're cooking at home, we want to get it to a smoke point. And one of the things you probably can't really see very well in this video is that the oil is starting to kind of like separate, and you can see some of the smoke coming up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our slotted wooden spoon and we're gonna slide those right on in. I'm not running my indoor fan right now so you can actually hear my voice. We're gonna put those on in there because we don't wanna splash them down. We wanna make sure we get them all nice and evenly placed. The next thing we're gonna do is turn our temperature down to about a medium. Oh man, these already smell so friggin' good. I know that you're making these right now with me, so you know exactly what they smell like. And these are going to be delicious. So as you can see, we got a nice color on the top of those bad boys. One of the reasons why I like using these stainless steel pans is because we can open up our oven. And go straight in without having to transition any other pans. Once those are cooked, we'll pull them out and we'll try them out.